Today our class is body fluid and circulation. This is the circulatory system from human physiology in 12th standard. Yeah, this is important topic for Neet. Guys, what is body fluids and what is the circulation system? Okay, body fluids can circulate. Okay, body fluid, especially blood. Okay, the blood is the connective tissue, which is mesodermal origin, mean from ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, like ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So connective tissue is mesodermal origin. Blood is the connective tissue which is mesodermal origin. Okay, yes, blood they do not secretes, the blood do not secretes their own matrix, it is the fluid tissue, that's why blood is the specialized connective tissue, blood is the specialized connective tissue. Yeah, in the body fluid and circulation, this is the circulatory system, which is blood is the major role to play in the circulatory system. Mean any nutrients, any hormones, any enzymes, everything is circulated through the blood. Okay, if any organ, the hormone which is released into the blood vessel, the blood is carried towards the organ. Any hormone, nutrients and enzymes, such a material they can carry forward through the blood. Okay, blood is the connective tissue which is mesodermal origin, it is the specialized connective tissue. Okay, and blood they do not secrete their own matrix. Okay, it is the fluid matrix. Okay, blood is the specialized connective tissue consisting of fluid matrix, plasma and formed elements. Okay, plasma and formed elements. Blood is the slightly alkaline, mean the pH of blood it is 7.4, slightly alkaline, the pH of blood which is 7.4. Okay, arteries are the greater than the veins, the pH of arteries are greater than veins. This is the most important. Arteries of pH is greater than veins, because of veins have carbon dioxide is there in the veins. There is a blood which is like deoxygenated blood. The carbon dioxide in the blood they can make the carbonic acid, that is Ca3, like carbonic acid. Acid create somewhat acidic. Mean, just look into this. If the deoxygenated blood, which is carbon dioxide mixed in the blood, they create, this is the blood, there is a H2O in the blood, CO2 plus H2O create H2CO3. This is the carbonic acid. Acid has acidic nature. This is the deoxygenated blood they can carry forward in the veins. So veins has such a acidic in nature than artery. Okay, artery is basic in nature, arteries are greater basic than veins. Vein are such a alkaline nature. Okay, this is about blood. Okay, blood, the composition of the blood, composition of the blood. Composition of the blood. Blood. Okay, blood has its blood cells and plasma. Plasma and blood cells. Blood cells. Plasma is about 55% in the blood, it is about 45% in the blood. This is the 55% as plasma its own material, which is like plasma proteins and water, plasma proteins and water, plasma proteins plus water. Water contain about 92%, plasma proteins it is about 6 to 8%. Plasma proteins are albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen, this is about plasma proteins. Okay, there is a fibrinogen which is blood clotting factor, blood clotting factor. So without fibrinogen there is a albumin and globulin and water, together we can call serum. Without blood clotting factor, the remaining part of the plasma we can call serum. Okay, yes. What is about albumin and globulin? Albumin involves in osmotic regulation, in the blood, in fluid. So what is osmotic regulation in the blood fluid? Blood carry through the blood vessel, this is the blood vessel. Blood carry through the blood vessel. This is the blood. Okay, blood vessel walls are made up of with epithelial tissue. This is endothelial cells, modified epithelial tissue, we can call endothelial tissue. Endothelial. Okay, yeah, blood, they can flow in the blood vessel. There is a fluid in the blood. There is another fluid is there in the blood. Another fluid is there in the blood. Water fluid is there in the blood. Yeah, this fluid can be filtered in some areas. They can exit out from the blood vessel. This is the fluid is come out from the blood vessel sometimes. Okay, yes, there is a protein in the blood vessel called albumin. There is a protein in the blood vessel, in the blood, is called albumin. Okay, this albumin, they can hold the water which is going to out. Okay, they can hold albumin holds its water and retain the water into capillary. We can call it as blood capillary osmotic pressure. So this albumin involved in the osmotic regulation, blood capillary osmotic pressure, that create a pressure in the water to retain the water which is lost from the blood vessel. Because of it is the largest protein which is located in the blood vessel. This is albumin. Okay, albumin involves in the like osmotic regulation, which is retain the water into the capillary again. Okay, yeah, this is about albumin. What about globulin? Globulins are three types. Globulins are three types. Alpha globulin, beta globulin, and gamma globulin. Alpha globulin, beta globulin and gamma globulin. This is the alpha beta globulin. There is no function at all in the NCERT. Okay. What about gamma globulin? Gamma globulins are produced by WBC. WBC secretes gamma globulin. So WBC main functions to like defense mechanism. Main involved in the immune functions. Involves in immune function. Gamma globulins mainly involves in the immunity function. Okay, this is about globulin. Albumin and globulins are the protein which are located in the plasma. And fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is one of the clotting factor, blood clotting factor. As well, along with fibrinogen, there is another factor is there in the like plasma, that is heparin. Heparin is the anticoagulant. Heparin is the anticoagulant. This is about plasma, guys. And what about blood cells? Blood cells mainly three types: RBC, WBC and platelets. Blood cells mainly three types. Where they produce? Yeah, they produce in the bone marrow. They produce in the bone marrow in compact bone. No, in the bone marrow. They produce in the bone marrow. Where this is the compact bone, guys, the structure of the bone. This is the bone. This is the medullary part of the bone. Center part is the medullary part of the bone. This is, we can call yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. And this is the yellow bone marrow is reservoir of the RBC. Reservoir of RBC. Yellow bone marrow is reservoir of RBC. This is the spot. This spot is epiphysis. 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 This spot is diaphysis. Diaphysis. In the part of epiphysis, there are some pieces are there, fragment pieces are there. These pieces we can call trabeculae. Trabeculae. Between the pieces, there is a space. There is a space. Between these pieces, there is a space, matrix. That is, the matrix has red bone marrow. Red bone marrow. Red bone marrow. Red bone marrow. Red bone marrow can produce RBC, WBC and platelets. Where in the epiphysis part there is a red bone marrow which is produce RBC, WBC and platelets. This is the medullary part which is yellow bone marrow, reservoir of the RBCs. Okay, this is about the RBCs, WBCs and platelets produce. Yeah. Body fluids, blood. Blood is the specialized connective tissue which is produce formed elements and fluids. Blood is slightly alkaline with pH of 7.4. The blood is in the arteries are greater than the veins. The pH of blood is greater than veins. The arteries pH is greater than veins. Veins. Okay? Yes. Next slide. Yes. Composition of the blood. Plasma. Plasma contain water, proteins and other solutes. Proteins are, as we know, like albumin, albumins, globulins, and fibrinogen, heparin, and this is proteins are 68% in composition of the plasma. This is 92% water is composition in the plasma. This is other solutes are 2%. This is about plasma. And formed elements. Formed elements RBC, WBC and platelets. Okay. WBC are two types again, agranulocytes and granulocytes. Agranulocytes are the lymphocytes and monocytes. granulocytes are the neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. Okay? Yes. Yeah. About plasma. Plasma is without clotting factor called serum. Plasma without clotting factors called serum. Composition of plasma is as follows. Water is 90 to 90%, proteins are 6%, 6 to 8%. Globulin are the protein. Globulins are used in defense mechanism of the body. Mean WBC produce globulins. Okay. Albumins are the functional, primarily there are carrier proteins of the steroids, acids and thyroids hormones, like, okay, yeah, they can stabilize extracellular fluid volume. This is most important. They can stabilize extracellular fluid mechanism. Albumin. Fibrinogen, it is needed to the clotting for blood, okay, or coagulation of the blood, okay, which is produced in the liver. This is the most important. Fibrinogen produced in the liver, albumin produced in the liver, but globulin are produced in the WBC. Okay? Yes. During the tissue or vascular injury, it is converted into the enzymatically thrombin, fibrin and then into the fibrin based blood clot. Okay? Fibrinogen. Heparin is the glycoprotein which is blood clotting anticoagulant, which is prevent the blood clotting. Yes. Erythrocytes, there is another name, RBC. Erythrocytes, there is another name, RBC, which average RBCs are 5 million, 5 to 5.5 million or 5 millions. Okay? Yeah. Most of the mammals RBCs are like anucleated. Okay? Anucleated. Okay? Yeah. Where RBCs are developed in the red bone marrow. They developed red bone marrow, anucleated and 5.5 millions. Okay? Yeah. There are some like RBCs as certain protein we can call hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has 4 chains, 4 chain material. This is 2 alpha chains, 2 beta chains and one head part heme and tail part globin. This is 5%, this is 95%. Heme and globin. Okay? Yes. Hemoglobin is red color pigment which is 2 parts, heme part 5% and globin part 95%. Oxygen binds to the presence in the heme part. Oxygen here bind to the heme part. Heme part oxygen bind. Heme part. Carbon dioxide bind to the globin part, which is tail part. Head part heme, it is bind to the oxygen. Carbon dioxide bind to the tail part, which is globin. Okay? Yeah. 100 ml of healthy human body contains 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin. 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin. Yeah, that is 100 ml of blood contain. Yes. Next, WBC. We can call leukocytes. WBC. Leukocytes. WBCs are 2 types mainly. That is agranulocytes and granulocytes. Okay. Agranulocytes are the monocytes, lymphocytes and eosinophils. Granulocytes are the basophils and neutrophils. Okay. So, agranulocytes in the monocytes are 6 to 8%, and lymphocytes are 20 to 20%, eosinophils 2 to 3%. And granulocytes are like basophils are very low ratio, which is 0.5 to 1%, and neutrophils are very high, 6 to 65%. This is all about the blood. Okay, we are going to discuss detailed discussion about RBC and WBC in the next class. Thank you.